Hello and welcome to round 7 here at the Uppsala Chess Festival. My name is Fiona Steil-Anthony. We will be able to remove Harry's name, unfortunately, because Harry has left us. He is a local of Uppsala though, so maybe he will be back on Sunday. Who knows? I will try my best to persuade him, but this afternoon you'll have to make do with me. So, as always, I will be counting on your support. You've been very present, very active in the chat. So this afternoon, I will need your suggestions more than ever. Get Alex there. Alex is, well, he's in Luxembourg and he's very busy. I was hoping to get Alex to persuade him to play actually here in Uppsala, but he's a busy man, so he will not be joining me. Um, School is saying, Fiona, yesterday I saw MasterChef UK 2020. Your voice is the same as Claire, one of the finalists. I'll have to look into that. I do love a bit of MasterChef, although, as you know, I'm a vegetarian, so I only love very few of the dishes. I prefer baking shows. I love watching. It's one of my guilty pleasures. Never bake myself, but I love watching baking shows. And this is what happens when Harry leaves. I talk about baking. I talk about MasterChef UK. But let's look at the pairings. They're right here. And actually, we thought that no, actually, those are the pairings from this morning. So I just realized. So we're just gonna go to the games. Because I was thinking, oh, Tiger against Isaac, interesting. But we've already seen that. So we're going to just jump straight into the games and we'll just, in the first hour, quickly whiz through the openings of every single event. But we have the updated standings below me here. And as you can see, Platon Galperin, he's not the sole leader. For the first time, he has been caught by his fellow Ukrainian Grandmaster Emil Mirzoev. Both of them are on 5 out of 6, which is a pretty impressive score. And Tiger Hilla Persson, he's on 4 out of 5, chasing them. But very exciting pairing this afternoon. Somehow, I think Harry and I got this wrong. We thought that game was going to take place tomorrow. But happy surprise. A big game to look forward to this afternoon. Tiger with the white pieces playing against Platon. Platon is on 5 points, so he needs 1.5 out of 3 for the GM norm. And Tiger, he will be looking for a win with the white pieces to catch Platon in the lead. So a big game here. Tiger opens with d4, knight f6, e6, and now we've seen a lot of these Indian bishop b4s. We've seen so many of them, but now we get a queen's gambit declined and c5. Is this? I think it's the Tarash. Now I'm on my own. I'll have to make things up. I think it's the Tarash with c5. And we get some first exchanges in the center. White takes on d5 and black takes on d4. Interesting stuff. I wonder if this is already quite offbeat. Let me see. There's still a fair few games. The most played move, well, you have to do something with that one. The pawn is threatening the knight, so you cannot just continue taking your way through. So you have to take this pawn. Queen takes is the most played move, but knight takes is also a move. And still only some 300 games, 400 games, so we are not in mainline territory any longer. Pilopa is informing me that this line was played by Karyakin during the World Cup, which tells you how much attention I was paying. I did follow, of course, the World Cup, but I tend to, first of all, I was on holidays, and I tend to not look so much at the openings. I tend to tune in at the later stages. But interesting. So Platon, following in Karyakin's footsteps, I wonder if knight takes can black just take with the knight? I've got an itchy nose. I don't know what it is. Every time I walk into the studio, I have an itchy nose. But I wonder, can black just try and liquidate some pieces here? I don't think white will take, because I think this would suit black just fine. Symmetrical pawn structure, some pieces having already been swapped. Uh, I don't think that Tiger will go for something like this. After queen takes, let's see what is the move here. The most played is e takes, and immediately black finds himself with this isolated pawn on d5, which should make for an interesting game. I don't think it's a big deal here at all, because black will get very active piece play, but this is going to be interesting. I don't think this is going to be a theoretical debate. I think we'll just see a chess game, as they say. Let's move on. We'll come back here. Let's check in with the other leader, Emil Merzoev, sorry, with the white pieces playing against Jungmin Seo, and here we have a Reti opening. So a lot of the games where the players just want to mostly play the Reti, although the Reti has become hugely fashionable, it is not an opening where we will have any sharp theoretical debates, but rather white will just look to develop the pieces. Will we see e4 now? c4 is also an option, I think, but e4 is the main. But no early fireworks here. Emil also, I think, just will be looking to get some playable, some nice position to put his pieces on logical squares and take it from there. So we will also come back here, I expect e4, and we will see how Jungmin will react. The next one, Isaac has had a tough event. He is on 0 out of 6, and he is now white against Mihail Marin, who won his first game of the event this morning. So Mihail is on 2.5, and once again, I mean, we talked about this plenty. When you lose every game, what happens is the other players, they want to beat you. They will not take pity on you. They will try and make use of the fact Isaac's confidence have taken a big hit here. I hope with the white pieces he will be able to get a result. We'll see. I think I had a quick look at this before we went live, and knight takes e4, the open Spanish, if I'm not mistaken, which is also an indication, I think, that Mihail wants a fight here. There are many other lines that are quieter lines for black, but here it is called the open Spanish. It will lead to more open positions. We're going down the main line here of the open Spanish. Still over 6,000 games have been played in this position. D takes e5, bishop e6. All of this, actually, it's embarrassing. I don't remember much here, because I used to play this. I used to play this as black myself, but now queen e2 was played. Queen e2 is only the third most played move. Both c3, which is the absolute main, and knight bd2 have been played a bit more often, but queen e2, one of these three main moves. And black reacts by developing the bishop to e7, and now Isaac played rook d1, putting the rook where it faces the black queen. Also in some line you'll just have to be a little bit careful with that pin, but for now there's no threat, so Marin just castles now. And a question for Isaac: what next? I'm just looking at the book. The main move by quite a distance is c4. c4, it looks at first like black has two pawns on that, but because of the pin, because of the pin on the d file. Black can only capture once. You cannot capture a second time because the queen would be falling. So the question is, do you capture at all here? Do you capture that pawn at all? I guess so. Because, oops, sorry, if you don't take it, well, this pawn will be attacked, and this pawn will be attacked actually. So what am I talking about? You have to take the pawn on c4, and then, what is going on? And then after bishop takes, the question is, what does black do now? I don't think there's a threat per se in the position. d5, it is attacked twice, but it is also defended twice, so there's no threats right now. And I think we had another move, so c4 was played. We will see b takes, bishop takes, and then here I wonder, will Mihail pause? Have I talked to Maria? I briefly talked to Maria. I saw her just as I was walking into the room, and I'm so sorry. I don't know what. I don't have any allergies. I don't know what's going on with my nose. Um, mm, mm, mm. So I bumped into Maria just as I was arriving for the game. I mean, she didn't say anything. She said she liked my skirt. I'm wearing a green. Green is one of the colors of Sweden. No, do they not wear green sometimes? So a big green skirt. She said, nice skirt. I said, I like your shoes. That was all that we had time for before the game. I wasn't obviously going to say anything about her game. For those of you who were not here, this morning Maria had a completely winning position against Theodore Kenneskog, and in the end, it was only a draw. It was really, really heartbreaking, but what is there to say? I mean, she, like, there isn't, I think there's just not much to say. I think she knows that it was winning, and, but she seemed in, she was smiling, which I find, I was quite impressed to see her even, smiling. And one thing she said, I'm really tired. I mean, Maria and Michael, they drove 3,300 kilometers from Romania to come here. I know it's yellow and blue, but I thought that sometimes green was also, don't they sometimes wear green? If I'm wrong, then I'll just take it back and say I'm wearing green because I'm going to Ireland soon, and that will be correct for sure. So one or the other, your pick. And yeah, Gazma, good afternoon. Martin is saying this looks difficult to unpin. That is a very good point. You cannot remove the queen because then this would be attacked more times than it's defended, and you cannot really interpose anything. Mr. Savon is saying queen d7 now is book. Actually, I'm looking at the book right now. The most played move is bishop c5, but queen d7 is the second most played. Technically, if you mix blue and yellow, you get green. That's a great point, Sam. So I've mixed the two Swedish colors, and that's why I'm wearing a green skirt. So yeah, two options here. I'm curious, has Marin played already? Even c4. Maybe he's away from the board then getting a coffee, because I think b takes c4 is forced. And then here, queen d7. I guess queen d7, the idea is to bring one of the rooks to d8 and overprotect the pawn on d5, and bishop c5. Actually, this position is starting to ring some bells, some vague, distant bells in my mind. I have a feeling that back in the day I had looked at this. Bishop e3. Oh my goodness. My book is causing me problems. I'm trying to remember. Did it jump again? Bishop takes. I don't know what is wrong. Ah, no, it's okay. Never mind. We will leave Mikhail to decide what he wants to do. And maybe I think of Brazil. I mean, okay, I might be tired, it might be a double round, but confusing Sweden for Brazil would be a bit a bit far-fetched. Mrs. Abbon is saying there's also some bishop g5 in the air. Bishop g5. For who? For who? Bishop g5 is black. Surely you don't want to give up this bishop, no? Which moment are we talking about? And b takes, bishop takes has been played. And now we will see. I expect one of the two moves, queen d7 or bishop c5. I expect, I don't know which of the two moves is the more ambitious, but I expect Marin to play the more ambitious, and he has gone bishop c5 actually. So let's see now. Bishop e3, bishop takes, oh my, queen takes, and queen b8 is the line according to the book. So bishop e3, takes, queen b8, hitting the pawn on b2. So what happens here? But d5 is hanging. I can't click the book anymore, but I guess it continues. Does it continue like this? After queen d7, sorry, Mr. Sabon meant. So Mr. Sabon is saying after queen d7, bishop takes a6, knight c5, bishop c4, knight a5, and then Bobby Fischer played bishop g5. Okay, very interesting. Interesting stuff. Very interesting. I am sorry. I don't know why my board is jumping like this. But queen b8 has been played. So we are going down, and actually bishop takes d5 is not the move at all. The move is bishop b3. So we don't want to allow. What is wrong? Let's start the day with some simple calculations. Can black just maybe take? Bless you, Axel. And then take here. Maybe that's the problem. So bishop b3 will be played, and we will come back here in a bit. But an interesting fight between Isaac and Mihail. Let's see. No, this one we have seen already. So let's see Ludwig Carlson against Kazakowski. Kazakowski, who's on 3 out of 6, 50%. Ludwig has a really nice score. Ludwig is on 3.5, so +1. And what was it that he needed for the IM? Let me see. Ludwig, for the IM, he needs, IM norm, he needs 4.5. So he needs 1 point out of the next 3 rounds. With a win today, that would do it. With 2 rounds to spare, that will be nice. I'm sure the main thing on his mind will be to not lose. Hopefully even that's not on his mind. Hopefully it's just playing a game, but of course sometimes when you're playing for a norm or when there's something at stake, that can cloud your judgment or the way you play. But we have a Catalan. Didn't we have this exact position this morning? No, not exactly, but something similar. But not exactly like this at all, because in the game we saw, I think black had lost this bishop. While here, all the pieces remain on the board, knight c3 and rook c8. I have to say, the Catalan is one of the reasons why I stopped playing the Queen's Gambit declined as black. But if I could get this position every time I was facing the Catalan, I would have been very happy. I don't know where we left. Where we left. It's just Queen a4 already quite rare. No? Bishop d7 is quite rare. And c5 even rarer, so most of the time we see bishop c6 here. And maybe that's what, isn't that what we had this morning? No, that's also not what we had this morning, but yeah. c5 and, oh, Sam! Wow, that is a huge raid. I'm sorry, because I'm in Sweden, Uppsala, I don't actually have my notifications turned on since we're also streaming to the organizers' YouTube channel. But Sam raiding with a huge party of 379. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much, Sam. Hope you had a great stream. Hope all is well. Blame Sweden. And welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Fiona Stalantony. I'm currently in beautiful Uppsala, Sweden, where we are looking at some classical over-the-board chess. I am on site at the location. The players are just next door. And it is round 7 out of 9, so we are getting towards the final stages of the tournament. Also, on a selfish note, I'm inching closer to that not all important, but the big 20k milestone. Stick around if you like it here. Do consider dropping me a follow, and as soon as I go home, we will have a big 20k celebration stream. So 158 followers to go. Maybe we will even do it here while still in Uppsala. We'll see. But I'm just looking at the game between Ludwig Carlsson, not to be confused with Ludwig. Actually, isn't Ludwig Agrin the streamer? He's also Swedish, of Swedish descent, I think. Anyway, I digress. We were just talking that this c5 move in the Catalan is a little bit offbeat. But I quite like, I have to say, the position that black got just before the raid arrived. I was saying that the Catalan is one of the reasons I don't play the Queen's Gambit declined as black any longer. I always got these positions where I was just playing for one result, or for two results, a loss or a draw, which was no fun. I mean, it's not like I've never beaten the Catalan, but I've beaten it too rarely to continue playing the Queen's Gambit declined. And rook c8. So just before the raid arrived, I said I like black's position. I mean, those two bishops are developed to beautiful squares. I don't know if this bishop can be a bit awkward at times, but I mean, any knight jump, of course this is not a move at all now because the knight controls. e5, I think black will always be happy to exchange those bishops. So what can I say? I like the way this has gone for black. I also don't think white can stop black from castling. Or can we somehow harass those bishops? Another question is, can this hole on d6 be a problem? But it's black to move as well, so what's wrong with just castling? Also, if you're new here, I'm not using an engine. In case you're wondering, I thought if I'm by myself and I use an engine, that won't be very much fun, neither for me nor for you. So here we are, just me and my brain power. Castles, the only thing I wonder now is, could this d file become a problem? But I wonder, can can black even exchange queens? This would force the exchange of the queens because we're hitting f2. And if white takes, I don't even know, maybe I can even take with the knight. Of course, none of this is forced, but now the knight will even get the knight outpost in the center. I really like this. I really like for black for sure. So I'm not sure yet how white is planning to claim a little advantage, but we shall see. Kugrex is saying, as my Svenska friends would say, no engine equals fantastics. Fantastic. It's a weird way in which they arrange the letters. Fantastic. There you go. Okay, let's move on. I think there's only one game remaining in the GM group which we have not seen yet, and that is Can Kukukshaari against Milton Pansar, two of the many up-and-coming Swedish players, and we get another Catalan. What is going on in this tournament? We've seen so many Catalans. These players are so young. I need to have a word with them. No more Catalans. This one isn't actually a pure Catalan. It's kind of a Queen's Indian / Catalan hybrid. And again, what we are seeing here, we've seen, I'm 100% sure that we've had this exact position in the event before. And as my lovely co-hosts have explained many times before, here the bishop can lose a tempo and drop back because this bishop on d2 is not where it wants to be. In general, it wants to be on b2, so we can afford to lose a tempo to lure the bishop to d2 and drop back to e7. Catalan is very conservative. Yeah, I mean, like, am I gonna offend someone? It's like I was gonna say an old people's opening. That I will probably offend some people if I say that. But it is I mean, it has a reputation as being, yeah, pretty quiet. I mean, in this tournament, out of 10 players, I think 6 or 7 of them are, no, 7. I think 7 of them are 20 or younger. That is not a field where I would expect to see 2 Catalans a day. Is that too harsh? Am I being too harsh? Do I need to have my co-hosts back to keep me in check? Stop me from speaking my mind? I don't know. But yeah, I for sure never expected to see so many Catalans in this event. So the bishop goes to g2, black castle, so does white, and c6, and this is going to be a rock solid pawn formation, the pyramid, as it's also known nowhere. Queen c2. I think we had seen some in similar games. We had seen black try c5. I don't know if that's a move here. Is that a move here? I suspect it's a move here. Let me just ask the all-knowing book. The all-knowing book says no, Fiona. c5 is not a move. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It's really hard for me to tell all these little move orders and things apart. So c6 it is. Nice and solid. Queen c2. Knight bd7 was played now. And I'm trying to think, I mean, maybe black could still play c5 in the future when he's more ready. But for now, white is just getting all the pieces out. And b6, so b6 could both potentially support a future c5 pawn push, but I think more importantly, it's giving these the light squared bishop somewhere to develop to, and we see that after bishop f4, the bishop goes to a6, where it's now, well, this pawn is threatened and white captured, which suits black just fine, because now this rook will be able to come to life via c8, unless, well, we have some questions to answer first. Knight e5. I just checked, there have been no games in this position before, at least not in my database. My first question to you guys, what if black just captures? How is white going to recapture here? I felt that if you take with the bishop, I don't know, it feels like black is so close to equalizing. Maybe I'll start with rook c8. Queen b3. At least trying to put some pressure here. But queen b3, maybe I can even meet it with bishop c4. And actually suddenly this queen is a little bit... Where does it go? Oh, also this pawn is hanging, sorry. So rook c8. And we have to go here to keep an eye on e2. And now, I mean, if black just wants to equalize, I suppose he can just play bishop e6. I'm not too sure how white is supposed to have any kind of edge here. This bishop is nicely placed along this diagonal. This bishop is hitting onto a very solid pawn on d5. So I'm not too sure. And knight e5. So what I was thinking, maybe white should take with the pawn if white wants to fight for the initiative. But here, I guess the knight will jump to d7. Maybe here we have to fight. Can maybe white play e4 here? Is this the way? Maybe this is a little bit annoying for black, actually. Maybe this is very annoying now that I'm looking at it. Because if you take here, no matter which way white recaptures, this pin will be annoying. Oh, actually, this will just, I think, win a pawn and more or less end the game. And if you cannot take, then you're also in trouble. You'll have to defend the pawn, but the pawn actually just drops. Okay, so we figured out something. And what we figured out is that if we take, at least we cannot go here, but no matter where we go, I think e4 will likely be annoying, unless we can get away with knight h5. And maybe this is not so clear. What do you think in the chat? What are your thoughts? After having looked at this for a while, I have a feeling we shouldn't take on e5. But if we don't take, then knight c5 is quite an annoying threat. Maybe this is not as easy as I thought at first. Maybe this is not as easy as I thought at first. Okay, we'll come back here. But for now, I think we've seen knight on d7 is bad, knight on e5 good. Sam is suggesting rook c8. I thought of rook c8, but I think the problem is white can go knight c6 anyway. And if the queen moves, we'll take here with check. And I think now with the bishop here, white will have a little, maybe a little something at least. Now this bishop has no counterpart. And rook c8, knight c6. What if you just do nothing as black? What if you, for example, go king h8? I take the queen, take here, then this knight is trapped. So this doesn't work. So I don't know. I don't know if knight c6 is any good actually. Maybe knight c6 is no good. So many questions. So few answers. We think you are right. I appreciate that. I appreciate the vote of confidence, Planet Al. Okay, we'll just wait. We'll let. I mean, I think at least also what is clear is that it's not such an obvious answer. Do we take or not? Because otherwise, Milton would already have made up his mind. So things are unclear here. Let's move over to the. Let me refresh here because I don't think that is the position. Is that from this morning, right? Let's bring up the standings for the IM1 group and move on over there. Nicola, thank you so much for the 1,000 bits. As I just mentioned earlier, no notifications since we're also live on the YouTube channel of Uppsala Chess Club. But thank you so much for the 1,000 bits. Hope you're well, Nicola. And okay, let's see if we have more action in the IM groups. Oh my goodness. I was just gonna say, please no more Catalans. Moving to the IM groups, and what do I see? What? Why do they want to torture me? Okay, we'll just skip the whole opening here and just go to the live position. I shall not analyze another Catalan. I'm taking a pledge right here, right now. So let's just move to the current position here. What do we see? We see an isolated pawn on d4. Is bishop takes c6 winning a pawn? Bad. Great question. So we see an isolated pawn, but we also see a knight on c6, which is only defended once. Of course, the problem is, the good thing is you've won a pawn. The bad thing is you've given up your pride and joy. And the question is it worth it? Let me work it. Oh. At first sight, based on solely my instinct, I would be a bit scared. What I would be scared of is something like this. So if I'm white, I really want to stop the bishop from coming here. But maybe this is fine, for example. Oh, maybe I need another square for my queen. Let's see. But I have no other square. Hard from e7, but that's not where I want to go. Yeah, knight f4 is another move that I also thought if I go here. Oh no, where did I go? Did I go here or did I go here? Knight f4, yeah. Knight f4 is also another move I was thinking of, covering this square and this square. Even here, maybe black has compensation or counterplay. Because this bishop, black has to keep on to this bishop. But black also has some pressure down the e-file, and if this bishop gets on this long diagonal, maybe we can in the long term kick out the knight with g5. I don't know, I think white is probably considering taking. My feeling, which I don't know how much that's worth. Greetings to Colombia, the deuce. I would not take it. In general, I like pawns, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned here. Also, the fact that black, and international master, strong player, that he went rook e8 and said, be my guest, take the pawn, would make me even more, would make me even more doubtful. And now we see that Martin has decided to not take the pawn and just play rook e1, safeguarding that pawn on e1. And now I'm curious, will black play bishop d5, try and exchange these bishops, or what will he do? I think that's the move that makes sense. White can never really play e4 because we can just take that en passant. So maybe bishop d5, and my feeling is this would be pretty equal. But let's see, let's move on. Please, no more Catalans. Let's see Samir Sahidi against Adrian Söderström. Okay, a Slav, anything is better than a Catalan, although this, A, I don't know the Slav, and B, this isn't, oh, something is happening. c5, offering the pawn on c5, on b5, sorry, which this time was captured. Knight takes b5, and c, oh, maybe it isn't a pawn because the queen is attacked. But it's not a pawn, but okay, this is messy. This is messy. Where will this queen go? Let's say queen e2. So now this bishop is hit. Maybe it is a pawn sacrifice after all, because I think this guy will have to move. And now can't we just take, maybe even with this? What am I missing here? Oh, you didn't have to move the queen. Bishop c4. Somehow I just discarded that we could just interpose a piece. Bishop c4. It does make sense because black doesn't have any pawns on the b file or on the d file with which he can attack the bishop. But Zebru, hello. Okay, one question is again, do we want to give up this beautiful bishop to weaken the king? What is this? The answer is, oh sorry, that bishop was hanging the whole time. Never mind me. Okay, let's pretend the last while never happened. Okay, this knight is attacked. This bishop is attacked. So I think black is sacrificing a pawn after all, because I don't think that black can hold on to both the extra pawn, to the pawn and to the bishop. So if black goes bishop b8, and let's say this knight, maybe this knight doesn't want to take this because this knight might still be looking. Okay, even here, for example, white has an extra pawn. Question is, does black have compensation here? Counterplay. I do not know. What's the time situation? Black has played quite quickly. Also, Adrian Söderström, he's on 2 points, and he is playing the tournament leader. So very interesting. I mean, if Adrian gives up this pawn like this, surely he must have reasons. So Mr. Saban, he thinks he wants bishop b8, and after any capture, knight b6. That makes a lot of sense, actually. That makes a lot of sense. And no matter what white does, but maybe white. No, this does make a lot of sense. And then, okay, even if this is the best we have, here I think with this beautiful bishop pair and its weaknesses, I think this looks like black has something, at least. Also a nice outpost on e4. Mr. Savon, thank you for saving the day. So very interesting this. And we see Samir Sahidi has spent a lot of time to get here. He's currently the sole leader on 5 out of 6. And actually I didn't realize Fyodor Keneskog, he's on 4 out of 6 after the draw this morning against Maria, which should have been a loss, but luck favors the brave. Or what is it that they say? An e4. Hallelujah. 1 e4. Although we did have one. Shout out to Isaac Stormer for playing 1 e4. And we have a Pichts. Very interesting. Oh, no, it's not. Ah, it's another Philidor played by Jan Johansson. We saw him play a Philidor a couple of days ago. Let me find that game. He played one Philidor in round... Let me find it. Was it this game? No. I think it was quite early. No, it was already with Harry, so it must have been... It was yesterday, actually. He played the same exact opening against Samir Sahidi, but this was a game he lost, but he's trying again. So let's see what we have today. Oops, sorry. So here it is, the Philidor. For now, we're following the same route as yesterday. Fortune favors the brave. Thank you so much, TM No Chance Ever. That's absolutely what I'm looking for. Mr. Salmon says this opening Jan has played for over 50 years, so he knows it well. And today he goes for b6. Yesterday we had this position up till here, and Jan played a5. And we had some discussions about these lines, but today b6. b6 is another main move here, and a6. It looks weird, but I think this is all standard, has been seen before, and as Mrs. Sabon is saying, Jan knows these openings well. Now, Theodore plays h3. Again, this is a move that makes a lot of sense to prevent a piece from jumping onto to g4, for example, the bishop, but also it's a nice prophylactic move in the future to have some air for the king. Now the bishop gets developed onto the long diagonal on b7, and we have an exchange on e5, followed by knight h4. So we see as soon as that bishop left c8, where it was keeping an eye on f5, that knight is looking to jump into f5, which would be a lovely square for the knight. And that's exactly what happens. Bishop f5 and oops, not g5, that would be a bit too much. But g6, and hello classic 2803. I can tell you, if I were white here, I would start getting excited. I would start getting excited here. Somehow creating all these dark squared holes. I don't like it for black. I guess there is no way to punish it immediately. But let's see. What if I jump into d6, attacking this bishop? Also attacking f7. So now I'm threatening, kind of threatening this. Maybe black has to take. black, I think black should try and swap queens at all costs. I think otherwise they might be, but you can't move this knight now, otherwise this pawn falls. Now I'm in bishop g5. No, this just looks terrible. So after knight d6, oh, what is like Hikaru Naka saying rook e8 and queen e7. That does make sense. I don't know, still, even if I put this bishop here and I keep the queen, maybe it's okay for black. Maybe it's okay, but I would not like to be black here. I would not like to be black here. And then f4. I mean, f4 might follow at some point. Like Hikaru, I think your caps lock is on. I think I love this position for white. I at g6 is a move that's scary. I mean, also white, if he wants to get that bishop, rather than going here, he could just take it, obviously. Something like this. I don't like this for black. I do not like this for black. But we will see what happens. Actually, I can't believe an hour is already gone. I've been looking for these openings for longer than I was planning. Let's quickly finish our tour. Okay, this one, an English opening. I have nothing to say about it for now. All the pieces, all the pawns still on the board will have a positional struggle. Let's see how is Maria getting on after the tough game this morning. She's playing black against Axel Falkewall. Axel, who's having a brilliant tournament, he's on 4 out of 6. And how did... Oh, Maria played the French. We had a French. And let's just come to the current position. I want to quickly see all the games that are going on before we take a break. White has an isolated pawn here. This reminds me a little bit of some Alapin structures that I used to play. This is what, in my world, I call the Fioni attack. Attacking h7. I have to say I love this position for white. Here the isolated pawn is great because it gives you a lot of space to play with your pieces. How are we doing here? Maripant, we are on live tilt at how many Catalans have been played this afternoon. But other than that, I have high hopes. The IM2 group, they have to restore my belief in humanity, and not play a single Catalan. In the GM group, we won't even go back there now. I like this position for white a lot. Queen d2, queen d3 will be played. a3 is always a very helpful move here to stop any knight b5 to hit the queen and the bishop. No bird openings. No bird openings, at least not so far. But this is interesting. This I like. This also is some kind of familiar territory. I've played similar structures before. It's a very primitive plan. Queen d3 and try and remove the defender. And it's not so easy for... I mean, it's white to move, so let's say queen d3. And as soon if you push any of these pawns, you will weaken your kings. So I would love... This is the position that I've seen today so far that I would love to play most myself. Okay, come on, IM group. Number 2. Don't let me down. Okay, for a second I saw g3, but it was a... What is h5? Sorry. Vignir has some interesting ideas. Has this been played before? has been played in a position which has been played 100,000 times before. H5 has only been played 7 times. But Vigny, he's a very creative player. So H5. Opening, so white gives up that bishop, damaging the black pawn structure. Now G3, planning to kick out the queen further with F4. Oh no, not a queen swap. Okay, let's see. Knight B5, hitting the bishop on D6. That drops back to B8. And now queenside castles. I can see that black has achieved too much with this H5 push, but let's see. King B1. And white develops the last piece. Knight drops back to nice and central square. And we have this position on the board. So black's structure, as mentioned, is damaged. Black does have the bishop pair. But look at where these bishops are standing. B8 and C8. The rook is still stuck on A8. This bishop, it's going to take some time to... I think what black wants is to play B5 and bishop B7. I like white. I like white. H5 could be an alpha zero idea, absolutely. I like white here. But if black can activate his pieces, he will probably be fine. For now, I like white. A Scandinavian, the IM2 group, that's where my allegiances lie this afternoon. And the Icelanders, who are mixing it up. Vignir with this H5, Dagor with the Scandi, the Queen D6 Scandi, which had experienced a huge rise in popularity a few years back. I think Kiviakov is supposed to be one of the world's leading experts. F3 and bishop F4. I don't know much about this Queen D6 Scandi, but I don't think that F3 and King F2 is a standard way of playing. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, there are no games in this position. G4 and G5, hitting the knight, and black captures on B2, hitting this knight on C3. And white just says, okay, I'll just develop this, I'll just defend this knight, and black says, fine, I've taken a pawn, now I'll move my knight, hit your bishop, but you can take this pawn if you want, and probably white wants to take that, because otherwise, what else? I do not like this king here. I do not like this king on f2, I have to say. I think black will just continue developing. Do we have to be concerned about the screen running out of squares? Also, c2 is hanging. c2 is hanging. Can I not just take that? I'm very curious to see what white does here, but I love black's position. That's my assessment. Okay, let's continue. Keep up the great work. I am group number 2. Okay, the f3 Nimzo. I'll just jump to the current position. We've talked about enough openings, especially the ones I don't know. We'll just skip them for now. Let's just go back a few moves. So white here took the center with e4, queen c7, e5, knight back, rook c1, f6, attacking the center. White defends it with f4. Black captures it. An interesting position here. I guess f takes e5 will be played and has just been played. White has a bishop versus a knight, but look at this bishop. This bishop for now is doing sweet nothing. I was thinking at first to play rook c2 to activate the bishop, but we can't do that because if, let's say, let me play a random move that is not terrible. What's a random move that's not terrible? G6 maybe. Might be terrible. But all I want to show is that you can't really take, because then you would have to take with the queen. You can't take with the pawn because the rook is hanging on c2. And if you take with the queen, first of all, this is hanging. But just to show, this is not what we want as white. So rook c2 for now is not a move, and then the question is, how do we activate this bishop? Maybe we can play a4 and bishop a3. By the way, Maripan, did you see this morning in that game, just very quickly now that we have this, oh no, it's not this group, but this attacking position, the guy played f5, our move. Kevin, hi, I am very well, thank you. How are you yourself? How are you? How are you yourself, sir? And he did win. Yeah, he did win. Queen c6 has just been played by black. So what's the idea behind queen c6? Maybe to swing over here, maybe to swing in here. I like black. I mean, in general, I like this white center. But this bishop, how do we... Maybe what queen c6 does is stopping a4. Maybe a4 would have been a nice move by white to bring the bishop to a3, which is now stopped because black could just take it. Although even here, rook a1, maybe a4 is still interesting. We will see. We will see. For now, let's jump on. Let's continue. The engine likes white. Yeah, maybe, I mean, if I also... Actually, I like this pawn structure a lot. I like this queen a lot. I like this f-file a lot. The only thing I basically don't like is this bishop. But if a4, for example, works, then I will like white. Maybe we can do something more direct, I don't know. Like rook f4. Okay, I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind. I like white. Alexander Hacht, I hope he's also like Isaac. They're the only two players. Oh, let's bring the standings, actually. I forgot. Excel. We can bring the standings for the IM2 group. No, I forgot completely myself. So then we can see Alexander Hacht. He, like Isaac, they are the two players who are on 0. So hopefully, I hope he can get a result. I really hope he can get a result here. But it's not an easy task. He's playing against one of the 3 leaders, Konstantin Bozok. So let's see what he comes up with. How much does the engine like white, Lone Lul? Tell me. Okay, moving on. 2 games to go. Queen c4. Bishop, what was this? A Caro-Kann. Let's give it up for the IM group number 2. They are treating us to a lot of different openings, and none of them is the Catalan. So big up. Well, only 8.6, but 8.6, 0.8, but that's quite a lot, almost a pawn. Okay, bishop takes a3. What's going on here? Black is up a pawn. White is hitting the rook. If the rook moves... Oh, I did not even see those queens coming off. Okay, queen takes. I guess king takes. And let's say rook e8. I guess white has some compensation, because this bishop, if it comes out here, this will be weak. So king f1 has been played. The rook will have to move, and maybe a move like rook b1. And although this is an extra pawn, it's not so easy for black to activate, to develop this final piece. So I think this is a dynamic equality. That's what we'll call it. And finally, no Catalan. Let's give it up for the IM2 group. It is a quiet position though. We came here from a Queen's Gambit declined. Black has this pawn majority on the queen side. White has an extra pawn in the center. And black has this isolated pawn on d5. At first sight, I like white. I think this pawn here, we've seen different types of isolated pawns today. There were some cases where, if you get a lot of active play with the pieces, it is nice. In this case, I'm a bit concerned this could become a weakness. Okay, I've blabbed on enough. Time for a coffee break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Sorry, this is so short. And we are back, round 7 here at the Uppsala Chess Festival. I had a quick walk around the playing hall. Everyone's still nice and focused. No results yet. We're, what, an hour and a half in? So that's what we like to see, despite the fact that it's a double round. Fighting chess everywhere, and let's just continue our tour. Well, start our tour again from the GM group, and this one actually has become super interesting. So this game between Tiger and Platon, which I thought looked quite comfortable for black. So let's see what happened here. Let me just refresh to make sure that this is all correct. I should bring my camera with me when I'm walking around. First of all, I didn't bring my camera with me. Of course, I have my phone. Follow me on Instagram. Been posting loads of stories about the tournament, so there you will find some footage, some photos, some. I even posted a short video of the start of the round today. So follow me on Instagram. Okay, queen takes d5. Actually, this is not the game where I thought black would be. So I'm confusing this with another game, but here also black got all his pieces out. The queen went back to d1. Knight e4, attacking this pinned knight on c3. Bishop d2 is forced, I think. But now knight takes, and queenside castles. Very interesting stuff in a3. Okay, so black gave up a pawn somewhere. Where was this pawn sacrificed? Right here. White here, black sacrificed a pawn, so black is a pawn down, but that king, for now the king is not super safe. The king will probably go to b8 at some point. For now, this rook on d8 that's looking down at the queen on d2 is looking quite menacing. I'm curious, can Tiger... Sorry, it's black to move as well because a3 was just played. Okay, so the first thing to look at is, do we have any immediate good discoveries with the bishop? I guess Tiger played a3 because bishop b4 is maybe what worried him. Let's say if Tiger made a move like e3, bishop b4, and if you try and kick out the bishop, the problem is you're not threatening to take because the rook is hanging. So now probably bishop f5, that queen would be attacked and c3 would fall. So that's why Tiger played a3. And of course this begs the question, can we still go bishop b4? Because that bishop cannot be taken still, but maybe here Tiger's plan is to castle. And I think this should be fine for white. Although, no, this is too much. This is too much, I think. Because we have this queen b2. And black even just has one pawn for the piece since he had sacrificed the pawn already. So I don't think bishop b4 is the move. What about bishop f5? Where will this queen go? Queen f4? And no, I have to say I like the position for Platon. He's down a pawn, but this white king, if that white king could castle, I think castling kingside with the king is too optimistic. I think we're too far removed from achieving that. So if Tiger can manage to get castled, then I think he'll be fine. If not, This could spell danger. I think Platon will also smell like a shark in the water. He will smell blood. If he can get a full point today with the black pieces, he will only need one draw out of the last 2 rounds for the GM norm. So I think Tiger is in some danger here. Maybe the position is fine, but he will have to find a series of quite precise moves. But yeah, very exciting, very exciting position. So I'm curious, what was I saying? I was saying that black, also maybe black has a better than this. The reason I wanted, I think this bishop should go. Maybe it can go to e6 and then look at to come into b3. By the way, great news, I just found out during the break that tomorrow, I thought I was gonna be on my own, but we will be joined by newly titled, he just got his IM title a week ago, Hampus Sørensen, one of the many up-and-coming Swedish players. So I'm looking forward to being joined by Hampus tomorrow. And then my job is to convince Harry. Harry, if you're watching us, we need you back on Sunday. Maybe bishop e6. Maybe bishop e6 to try and get into here. But now queen g5 will hit the queen. But even here, what if black even just goes queen b6, attacking both b2 and f2? So, oh no, what am I telling you? Can't even castle. Oh, actually, I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all for Tiger. Maybe I'm too pessimistic, but I'm a big optimist by nature. Advice for a new chess player. What kind of advice are you looking for to improve your chess? Am I friends with Artemiev? I think friends is maybe an overstatement, but we know each other, we've chatted. I'm a huge Artemiev fangirl. He's such a nice guy and a fantastic chess player. We'll come back here. This is very exciting. Although, as I say, I am concerned for Tiger. Next up, Isaac against Marin, this open Lopez. We left it here. This was all some kind of theory. Queen b6, the queens came off. Those knights were swapped. White got a weakening of his pawn structure. My guess is Isaac with the white pieces will be looking to trade, to get some trades here. This is what he gets. I think this could liquidate. This could liquidate. This will liquidate now. And I think we'll have a draw here very shortly. This is what's going to happen. What is the fastest way to make a draw? I don't know, but they will show us. They will show us. And this will be, I'm so happy for Isaac to get onto the scoreboard. So important after so many losses to just get a result, stop the bleeding, and then try his best without this thought on his mind of 0 points on his mind for the last 2 games. How will they? I wonder now, can black somehow still cause any problems with his pawn majority? But I don't think so. If I just go here, no, this is just a draw. Pass pawn, 42 months. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Yeah, this will be over. Rook d6 has been played. Will be over, I think, within a couple of minutes. Okay, let's move on. This was the position where I felt black was completely fine. No, now, yeah, this was the position with these 2 bishops. this is the game where I said if I could get this kind of position uh, against the Catalan, I would be happy. PH7! I'm so glad it worked. I finally, after 6 months of being a chess.com partner streamer, figured out that I can give away 3 memberships, 1-month memberships per month. So better late than never. So still 2 to give away this month, and from now on, I'll bear that in mind. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. So rook c8, queen b3, castles, bishop d2, and b5, and a6. I mean, not too much has happened here. I think black should be quite happy with how the opening has gone. This bishop is neutralizing its counterpart. The bishop on c5 is beautifully placed. I don't see a reason why. I think black has just... I'm not saying black is better, but I think black has equalized quite comfortably. Unless I'm missing something, but we'll come back here when it comes to life more. We'll see what happens. Jung Min with on the black side against Mirzoev. This has come to life real fast. This Reti, I didn't say much about it when we were last here, but f4, e takes, g takes, and f5, and things are happening here now. Queen h4, and that is the position on the board right now. A lot of tension in the center. So white did not play e5 here. Or is there something immediate wrong? Very often when I'm met with a move like f5, I tend to just put the pawn past. Can I say something about Edwin's game? Yeah, we will go there after the GM group. We'll go back to the IM1. And so now white, Emil gets another opportunity to go past if he wants, but maybe he doesn't want that because it will weaken this square. And maybe now black can just block that pawn with the bishop and maybe regroup. Sorry, I just wanted to put the knight there, which is not a legal move, but just go for something like rook d8, bishop here. So actually, in fact, pushing e5 I don't like. In that case, the question is, can we keep the tension here? Can we play a move like rook e1? And what is black's plan? Yeah, and ph7 Dodges had the same thought as me at the same time. Also e3. Yeah, but with the same idea with the knight coming. The knight coming. Also the knight coming to d5 is also actually maybe even better. Yeah. Now e5 actually I think we will not see. So then the question is, will we... This rook on a1 isn't doing much unless it wanted to support some b4 push, which I don't think is happening in the near future. Sorry, I have to refresh again. Sometimes these pieces just get stuck. Rook e1. The reason I'm looking lost here is because I'm trying to understand who is better, what's going on. I wonder what black wants as well with this queen here. White has to make sure to keep a close eye on this pawn. When in doubt, just come back here. Just come back here later. ph7 is making a great point. I mean, this knight is not happy. It can never jump to g4, and the queen on f3 is removing its natural square, f3. So maybe Jung Min is doing well, actually. There is this pawn which could be a weakness in the future. Dynamic equality, once again. Once again, I don't have too much to say here. This has exactly happened. I think even without this pawn, it's a draw. It's a bit annoying to defend, but here it's this will be a draw, which is great news. Has something happened in this tiger game? Nothing. These players are going to be low on time very quickly. Let's see. I think the only one we haven't seen is Milton on the black side against Khan. What was this? This was another. This was this Catalan-Indian hybrid. Where black had. This was another position where I thought black had. Black had come out of the opening fine. I know this was this is where we were wondering after knight e5 what to do, and we'd come to the conclusion to not take, and Milton fought for a long time here. Now actually this was not the game where I thought black didn't have problems. Here we were, Milton did take a long time to play queen c8, and white says I don't want to swap queens, so I'm gonna go queen d2, and now he took on e5, bishop takes, queen d7, knight c3, rook c8, rook c1, bishop c4. Rook b1 is some kind of admittance, so once again, that something has not quite gone right, because now white put the d rook on the c file, but I feel like could have done that immediately, which would probably have saved some time. I don't know how bad this is. But now white is very crammed. Now white is very crammed, and this bishop on c4 is actually very annoying, I feel, for black. Clamping down on b3, of course, white would love to free himself with some b pawn push, which is never gonna happen. The knight has just jumped into e4, hitting the queen. Of course, we don't want to give up this beautiful bishop, so the queen has to drop back. I like Milton's position a lot here, I think. It was a Catalan hybrid, a hybrid Catalan with bishop b4 something. But let's not, we'll ban the word. The word Catalan is banned from now onwards. If I read it one more time, we'll just have to put it into the list of banned words in the chat. Pass pawn, it is a 9-round event. Today is round 7. Round 8 will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. local time, Central European Summer Time, and round 9 on Sunday, also at 2 p.m., which is great. No more morning rounds, so we're relaxing end to the event. Queen e1, and yeah, I just think I like Panzer's position, but how do we make progress? Milton has spent a lot of time. He is down half now on the clock. Maybe we just double rooks. But white is probably threatening to play bishop knight e3 and ask this bishop. And every exchange should be good for white. Nisahe! Dogalan. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Don't do this to me. That actually took me a while. That took me a while to understand, but when I understood, I'm such a sucker for terrible puns. The Cantalan. All of those are great, actually. Nisai, thank you for the 10 ones. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's only around even. I think black. I I like black. But maybe white is fine. Okay, let's go over to the IM group. We'll bring up the IM1 standings, and Lone Wolf wanted to look at Edwin's game. So we will start there. Not much has happened at all since we left, right? Also, this was another... Not, no, it wasn't a Catalan, so... You get away with it. A4. Where did Edwin spend so much time? I can't believe out of all the games we have, Lone Wolf is asking me to look at this one. Cut me some slack. What do you want me? All the pieces still on the board, all the pawns still on the board, and a positional struggle with a lot of tension in the center. This is my worst nightmare. Okay, let me try and say something clever about this. Something clever is this queen on a6. Is quite out of the game for now. They have one clever thought. They are not even trying, I know. Hello, turnip. Hello. So this queen for now is not ideal. I wonder, is Edwin looking to maybe play b6? But b6 will always weaken this diagonal. I think he took his time when he moved the pawn to a5. So Jaime is the one who took a lot of time. Both of them took a lot of time. a5 and on e5. Lone Wolf. Christian says Hilmir said he was going to play the Stanford Gambit. You mean the Stafford Gambit? I guess the Stanford Gambit doesn't exist. To be fair to Hilmir, you cannot play the Stafford Gambit with white. So it was a very empty promise. Very empty promise, I'm afraid, Christian. Okay. PH7 dot has something clever to say. Knight e1, c2, and b2 would trap the queen. But if you go here, I will take this. He didn't play the... If he had played the Stafford Gambit, we would have seen it. He definitely... Let me see, what did he play this morning? But this morning he never got a chance, because the Stafford Gambit, I never know exactly how it goes, but it's in the Petrov. So if his opponent played d4, he couldn't. In his defense, he couldn't play the Stafford Gambit. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow is a new day. Yeah, with some prep. But I think the queen... Yeah, it's not so easy for the queen to get out of this. But, oh, it's raining again. My favorite topic, the weather. Am I the only one who loves talking about the weather? Axel, you don't love talking about the weather. Not so much. It's one of my obsessions. Actually, checking the weather app on my phone is one of the first things I do every morning. And it's not so much to find out. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. I digress. I don't have much. G4 maybe first with tempo. We will come back here when some pieces have been exchanged. We will only talk about this game in the future if at least one single pawn is exchanged. But it's not that the conversation is boring. I'm obsessed myself with the weather, even if I don't talk to anyone. Like, I always look outside, oh, now it's raining and earlier it was sunny. How crazy is that? And then I think, how crazy is it that here the weather is like this and over there it's like that? I'll just shut up now. Too much weather. Yeah, these days there's a lot to talk about with the weather as well. The weather is crazy. Lone Wolf says, yeah, I don't like this queen here either. But I'm not sure how bad is b6. If he can get away with b6, maybe it's okay. Anyway, we'll come back here when they've exchanged something. Anything. The tournament leader, Samir Sahidi, against Adrian Söderström. I was actually wondering, is this the game or is this my analysis? Let's refresh. Didn't I say? We called something. Hooray. Rook d1, and I said, what if black takes here and damages the pawn structure? And it does make sense that he wouldn't continue taking here, because you don't want to open up the d-file. So rook c5, and you're looking for a rook swing. Now that the g-file has opened up, black is looking to bring more pieces towards the enemy king. I think that's the idea. Also h2 could be a bit weak, so let's see. Rook h5 would attack the pawn on h2, and I think the only way to deal with that pawn is to block with f4. But then what do you do after knight g4? Wait, was this first? Rook e1. What am I missing here? Is white just planning to leave that pawn? Because e4, f4 actually I really don't like. So maybe white is just gonna give up that pawn. I want to take this pawn, but I don't know with which piece. I would love to take it with the rook, but I feel, for example, this check and bishop here, and if black can exchange these bishops, he'll be happy. I'm a bit confused. But rook e1 also seems to indicate that that king might run. A very interesting game. Once again, I think, okay, rook h5 has to be one of the critical moves. This pawn. The only way to save this pawn is f4, and I think you definitely don't want to play f4. I'm pretty sure it would create so many holes around the king. We'll come back here. We will come back and see what happens. For now, let's go to this one. This one was interesting. The game between Jokstad and Lord Kipanidze. What did we have here? We had this isolated pawn. I thought white was doing fine. The bishops came off. I still like white. I think here this pawn is not a strength. I think this isolated pawn should be a weakness. Black obviously doesn't want to exchange queens, which would just give white easier play to gang up on this pawn. So he keeps the queens, queen e6, and white is really insisting. And now he gets what he wants. Rook takes, and rook ec1. So he's not going for the d-file, instead he's going for the control over the e-file. And I think Martin just has a nice little advantage, risk-free advantage here. Black could try to gang up on this pawn, but then I think we can probably just defend it with the king. I don't know, either via f1 or f3. I don't know, maybe let's be sensible. But having said that, let me go back. Okay, this is the position on the board. What is Martin's plan after rook e8? Could his plan just be to give up this pawn for this pawn? Hitting this knight. I think this check doesn't do much. And then one of those pieces, actually it's not just that it doesn't do much with, I mean, maybe it's okay, but this just looks very equal to me. So I don't know. What else could he be planning after rook e8? Because I think king f1, knight c3 is a... but here we have e3 maybe. Here we have e3 and you cannot capture because the knight would fall. So this would be fine for white. This would actually be fine for white, and if you try and defend the pawn, I think there's even a4. I think Martin is a little bit better, but might be around equal. Okay, let's continue. This game I really liked white, so we left it here after g6. I did not like g6. I thought it was a bit too weakening on the dark squares. Theodore took on e7, and this is one of the lines we had looked at. I thought this is just putting a lot of pressure along the dark squares. King g7 over protecting the knight, also stepping out of this diagonal. Knight d1, so the knight is looking to reroute onto the king side, ideally to g4. Knight c5, knight e3, and h5. So h5 taking away... It's not easy to spell Uppsala. Taking away the square on g4. So white plays g4 himself, and things are going to open up here a lot. Rook h8. So g4 is a very committal move. g4 you might be better, but you're also suddenly opening up your own king. And immediately Jan jumps on the opportunity to get the rook onto that h file. And suddenly... Oh, queen takes h5. Was this missed by black? Oh, the problem is after pawn takes, knight f5 check. And white will emerge and exchange up. And if knight takes, the queen is just hanging. I think black might have missed this. Because otherwise I thought g takes h5 would not make much sense otherwise. Because black, for a moment I thought, well, now black is happy with the pressure on the h file, but queen takes h5. Very nice little tactical shot. Very nice tactical shot, and I think, okay, this is the best that black can do. But it is just a full exchange. There is not even a pawn. You cannot even take here because, oh, because it's not your move for starters, but also because you're still pinned here. And we see that Jan has resigned a few games in previous rounds quite early, so I think we'll see an early resignation here. Nice tactical shot by Theodor Kenneskog. Now the Icelanders, they want to see... No, this we just came from. Although, one pawn has been exchanged. One pawn has been exchanged, and e4. So it looks like black is giving up a pawn. This cannot be recaptured because the bishop is hanging on e7. So what is Edwin's idea here? The idea is probably knight c5 and then capture here. And then I think he'll probably be okay. Interesting. Oh, what did I say? I called it. For once in my life, I called something correctly. Unfortunately for Jan Johansson, he has just resigned after queen takes h5. And that's a huge win for Theodor Kenneskog, who was completely lost this morning and against Maria Yugina, but comes out of the day with a point and a half, and he is on 5 out of 7. Huge score for Theodore. Okay, and speaking of Maria Eugenia, let's bring up her game. Okay, but this has changed. I know this, or was this? This was this. I like that she has rerouted. I like that she's played g6 and brought the bishop here, because now this attack I was talking about has lost in power. And she's not going to get mated. That is the good news. The bad news is her position is a little bit more crammed. This pin could be very annoying. For example, what will black do? What will black do after knight e4? Am I missing something here? Black takes, I take the rook. I don't see anything here. Could it be that there is a good discovery here? No, I don't think so. Although maybe this is what she's planning. Knight takes, hitting the queen and hitting this bishop. And hitting this knight, actually. Maybe this is probably what Maria is planning after knight e4. To just take it, and then... But wait, sorry, what if I take with the bishop? This will just be an exchange, yeah? Here she will be down in exchange. She will have one pawn. Probably not enough. I don't know if this is forced, but I'm not sure what else after knight e4. We will come back and see. We will come back and see. So I think we've seen all the games in here. Quick look at the IM group number 2. Let's bring back the standings for the IM2 group. Let's bring... So we'll bring back the standings, quick look, and then back to the GM group. Then time for the second break soon. Although it's only been... No, it hasn't been so long. I wanted to get in 3 breaks, but I have to take them early, because otherwise we'll miss all the action. Anyway, we've had one result. Joachim Nilsson against Leo Krevatin ended in a draw. This was this game with the extra pawn for black, but that pawn, black struggling to develop all the pieces. Let's see, how did it end? Sorry, it didn't continue like this. So knight a5. And black just offered a draw. Black is up a pawn, but we have opposite colored bishops. This bishop will forever block this pawn, and I think black just has no way to make progress for Joachim. So it does make sense. Also, Joachim played such a long game this morning, so I think this one a fair and fighting draw. Let's see what else. Let's see how our Icelandic friends getting on. First of all, Vignir Stefansson against Grandmaster Thomas Ernst. I wasn't so sure here about this Vignir's... Oh, they've played a lot of moves about this whole h5 push, but let's see what happened. So one pair of rooks came off. I was a little bit concerned about Vignir's also development on the queen side, but now the bishop gets out to b7, the other bishop to c7, and the rook to... And suddenly I think black is more than fine. I think suddenly black is perfectly fine with this bishop pair. 2 pawn islands versus 2 pawn islands. I don't think that this double pawn is any problem at all. And now the rook is nice and active. Knight e2, defending the pawn on g3. Bishop c6. King here, a5. And bishop b6. And Vignier is doing a great job improving his bishops. b4. I am starting to like Vignier's position more and more. He has done a great job, I think, provoking some weaknesses in the white camp. And now this rook, perfectly placed along the h file, will probably come into h2. I like Vignier's chances. I like Vignier's chances a lot. I don't know if he is better, but I would take black any day here. I would take black any day here. I think the bishops, especially this bishop, is beautiful along these dark squares, so we'll see. We'll see if he can make something out of this, but I think I like this. Oh, what is this complete madness? It was already mad when we left. I liked Daguerre's position. g5, we left it right here. So let me just refresh to make sure that we have the moves correctly. Yeah, so knight e2 was played, defending this knight on c3, knight h5, hitting this bishop, which is defended by the knight though, rook b1, hitting the queen took. This we had seen. Actually, could it be that I forgot that this pawn was, no. Didn't I say Daguerre is up a pawn here? And soon he will not be a pawn up any longer. Actually, this is now not so easy at all. Knight a6, and white takes on a7. Now the material is even. What is knight b8? Ah, because then, wait. Okay, so bishop d6 was hitting this knight on f4, but the knight on a6 is also attacked, so knight h5, actually nice move. And it looked like this knight found no better square to go to than b8, bishop b5 check. What is this? Okay, king f8 at first sight looks to make sense to defend this pawn on g7. And such a strange piece constellation. Paddy, good to see you. King f8. Material is incredibly even. Weirdest game of the tournament. One of the weirdest, at least, for sure. If this rook moves, I think Daguerre will take this pawn. I mean, this knight is also very awkwardly placed now. If this knight moves, this pawn will fall. I think, I have a feeling Daguerre is doing well, actually. The question is, how do you develop this knight? This one is giving me a headache. This one is giving me a headache. Can we go rook c1 and a4? I would love to get my bishop to d5, but I can't, yeah? I just can't. Okay, if I hit your knight, you will go back to g3. I mean, this rook is also out of play. Maybe h6? Try and open this rook. I know these four pieces are some of the weirdest pieces I've ever seen. Ever seen. I like Dago's position, but we'll come back when I have more clarity on what's going on here. But I think Dago is doing fine. Okay, so give us something simpler. Alexander Hacht. We liked Alexander Hacht's position before, but Alexander, he's on 0 out of 6 so far, while playing one of the 3 tournament leaders. What is going on? Material is still even. Queen f5. I'm just gonna stick with the current position. Queen f5. Do we have a problem here? We can't play Queen f3 because Queen c2 would pick up this bishop. So Queen f3 is a move we would like to play, but we just cannot. That means we have to go with the king. Guess we have to go back. Seems the most reasonable. And now what? Yeah, unfortunately, Siddhartha, there are no Indians playing in the norm events. I think it's just quite difficult at the moment to, unless they're already in Europe, to get a visa to come play here. King g1. I think white is still fine. I think if there's no way for black to... Can black? No, but also this pawn, I will take it if you don't do anything. I think white is still doing fine. That's my assessment. I would say just drop the king back. Okay, next. William Olsen against Thorsten Limbach. Knight a5 has just been played by Limbach. Although black is the lower weighted player, I like black's position. Black has the bishop here. Okay, yes, this isolated pawn on d5, but I don't think it's a problem. Once this bishop drops back, I think we'll just plant the knight here on c4. Oh, Kugelbuch! Oh my god, actually I was just... Hello, moin, moin, moin. Thank you so much. Dieser Chat ist nun Deutsch. Thank you so much. Welcome, Raiders. I'm sorry I don't have my usual notifications turned on because I'm not at home. Hey, Kugelbuch, Dankeschön. Moin, moin, moin. I don't have my usual notifications on because I'm currently in Uppsala, Sweden, commentating on some over-the-board classical chess. But I appreciate you all. Welcome. This is also not my usual type of stream. Today it's... a bit more serious, I'm the official commentator here for the event. But I'm so happy to have you all here. And if you want, you can drop by. Well, first of all, please stay. Please stay. We have a lot of exciting games. The game started 2 hours and a bit ago, so we're entering the exciting phase. But next week, hopefully, especially with your guys' help, we will have a 20K followers party. We are so close, 140 followers away. But much love to Germany, and do stay with us. We'll... His chest crush. Am I gonna blush now? Let's drink some coffee and just move on swiftly. But so good to have you all here. Danke. Thank you so much, Kugelbuch. Okay. There's a huge raid. We should do a collab someday. I would love that. I would love to work on something together. In general, I do speak German, albeit with a French accent, I'm being told. But I would love to. I'd love to do some kind of collab. What is my rating? Johnny is asking the real questions. My rating is 2,153. That's That's my my FIDE rating. What's my best? My best is probably my chess.com bullet rating. I think I got that up before leaving to Sweden to 2330. Bullet is my guilty pleasure. The party crew. I know. I know. Okay, so yeah, sub battle maybe. Let's be in touch. That would be fun. Okay, back to the games. Actually, I was about to take a break, but I feel now I can't take a break, so we'll soldier on. We'll soldier on. Um, and funnily enough, Kugelbuch, I was just while I was on a break. Today is a double round day. I was just checking into. I was just lurking a little bit in the stream. He did play bishop a2, so just as the raid was coming in, black had played knight a5, hitting the bishop on b3. That bishop dropped back. And now Limbach. Well, actually, you. Oh, now I'm gonna get sidetracked again. I was just talking earlier about how obsessed I am with talking about the weather, and one of my favorite weathers is actually thunder. But I only if I'm inside. Otherwise, I'm a little bit afraid. But now there's thunder outside, so I'm gonna be sidetracked. Anyway, just as the raid from Germany came in, we are looking at one of our, well, the only German player in all of the groups, Torsten Limbach. But I think I think he's doing well. I was expecting that he would put this knight into c4, try and clamp down, hitting the queen. But maybe bishop b4 is even more ambitious. Maybe bishop b4 is even more ambitious. Pinning this knight to the queen. Germans waiting Twitch. Hippity happity hoppity. This chat is now our property. I didn't realize PH7 that you're from Germany as well. Or maybe I did realize. Yeah, the knight on c4 would block the c file, and maybe the c file is actually a huge trump, maybe even stronger than I realized. Bishop b4, queen b2 was played, stepping out of the pin. And now what? Now we need something good. What about queen e7, defending the bishop and threatening bishop a3? I guess then either the queen or the rook will have to move again. Maybe rook c2? Can you go knight takes d5? Here? Or where? Is there a moment? Here you want to go knight takes d5. That pawn is hanging, that's a good point. I got so sidetracked with my own idea of playing bishop a3 that I did forget about that. And yeah, it looks like if I go here now, you can take on c7 and you'll be fine. No, I can't lose that pawn, that is very true. Okay, so queen e7 is not good, but then what do I do? Then what do I do? Because I don't really want to. I mean, that bishop just moved to b4. If the bishop has to move back now, then I'm just not sure that bishop e4 was the right move. If Torsten doesn't have a follow-up after queen b2, then I think bishop b2 was wrong. The problem is I would love to keep this bishop here, but I just don't see how, because queen e7 is the only move. You can't concentrate anymore on what you have done before. Are you saying my commentary now is terrible after the raid? Is that what you're saying, Kikoridu? I don't know. I don't know if I like bishop b4. Knight c6, but yeah, then what was the point of bishop b4? I still preferred knight c4, even if the c file is now closed. Because the c file is now closed, but also this bishop is now out of the game. And maybe, if I get a chance, I would love to maybe follow up By the way, if the stream dies, it's because of the weather. It is because of the weather. Let's stop. We should drink some beers together. I wouldn't mind a glass of wine, actually. Maybe during the next break. Is the hotel bar open? Don't give me ideas. What rain, be happy. Yeah, soon we'll, if the thunder gets any closer, if the storm gets any closer, we'll have to close the windows. Because I'm always paranoid that something, especially if I'm on a computer, I love watching thunder, but I always have to have the window closed. For now, it doesn't seem too close. This is Sweden, anything can happen. Okay, quick look at the GM group. Let's bring back the GM standings. By the way, the Isaac Stormers game against Mikhail Marin has ended in a draw. So very good to see Isaac get off the mark. He's such a strong player, but such a tough start. It can happen to everyone. Can happen to everyone, but good to see him get off the mark. Let's see what is happening in Tiger's game. Tiger against Platon. Okay, here we have to go back. This is, I think, the craziest game of the round. E3. Right, this we didn't see any of this. No, we saw castles. We saw A3. And I was thinking of bishop f5. Instead, Platon put the bishop to g4. Queen c1, which is not the square that the queen would like to go to, but probably shows you that there was not too much choice. And now Platon changed directions with the queen. Went to h5. I think the idea is that in order to develop, Tiger would have to play either e3 or g3, and now the problem is after either move the knight will fall, but still it looks like Tiger didn't find anything better and was forced to play e3, and now Platon took this pawn. He had to sacrifice the pawn to get this position, so material is now even, but look at this poor king on e1. That is not a happy king. Rook g1, the rook was attacked. King b8, stepping out of the c-file. Bishop g2, queen g4, and queen c2. And that is the position on the board right now. I wonder if this king will just be safe on a square like f1. I am still very concerned for Tiger. Can we play a move like bishop d6 maybe? Hitting that pawn on h2? I think black is better. Will he manage to make something out of it? But I think there's no doubt black has to be better with this king stuck on e1. Also, the pawn structure is a little damaged here. This bishop is pinned to the rook. I think no doubt, yeah, that this looks quite bad for white. Babuja, hello. And Nemrak, thank you. Took me a while. I came up with Fioncetta in, 2016, but I was very happy when I found it. Why would Moobot literally held the word put? Bishop d6, h3, where do you put the queen? I don't know, g5? We have a trick in my knight e4. Paddy was tricking me. Okay, then. And if I go here, queen h4, that's not exactly what I wanted, is it? No, I don't have this pin, yeah. No, it's not over. I mean, it's far from over, obviously. Let's see what Platon comes up with. We'll very quickly update the other games. Then maybe one cheeky glass before I start commentating on the clouds outside. This one, Ludwig against Kazakowski. Let me remember what was happening here. This is the game where I felt that black had equalized quite comfortably. And I think black is just a little bit better. I think this bishop is so much stronger than the bishop on e1. This knight is nicely placed. The queen is very nice on this diagonal. I think this is just slightly better. I think black is slightly better here. But do they really have so little time on the clock? We started, what, 2.5 hours ago? Yeah. Time is ticking down. Time for a break very soon. Khan Kukukshari against Milton Panzer. This game... I can never remember what I was saying before we came back here. Well, this has changed quite a bit. But Milton is up a pawn. Okay, Milton is up a pawn and he will hold on to this pawn. I think can probably even afford some f5. So Milton is up a pawn. He's doing well. We'll see what happens. And finally, Emil Mirzoev against Jung Min. Not very much has happened here at all. We left it after queen h4. I wasn't too sure. I think in the end we concluded that Jung Min was doing fine. Rook e1 is the move that I was suspecting. Bishop d7, so getting out the last piece. Queen f2 and the queens come off, which is disappointing. Queens on the board usually make for more fun. Kugelbuch's community is a bunch of the best looking chess players on earth. You mean his community of viewers, or do you mean us? Are we now part of the community? The Fifi crew? Food for thought. Okay, this one, I don't know. I think it's very much in the balance. Is Jung Min's time correct? Does he have 37 seconds? That would be bad. If he has 37 seconds, then I would like white. I will go now. We'll take a quick 10-minute break. I'll go and have a look in the playing hall and see what the situation is. And I'll be back in 10. See you then. And we are back for the final stages of round 7 here in Uppsala at the chess festival. I have to admit, I am shocked. I cheated a little bit during the break. I had a quick look at this with the engine, Tiger's game. Now it looks better because the queens have come off, which has to be a huge relief to Tiger. But I checked, Tiger was never much worse. Like, the engine just gave equal throughout. I mean, to my human eye, which is a very sharp human eye, as you all know, this looked so horrible. Like, I thought black, I didn't want to say it, I thought black was close to winning. Which tells you how much I understand. Shows you how much I understand. White was fine the whole time. I don't know how, but white was fine. Chess BS, always a pleasure. Now that the queen's off, and I guess maybe now, I don't know if Tiger wants to play. I think I have a feeling that Platon will be happy to steer the game towards a draw if he can. Remind everyone he needs 1.5 points out of the last 3 rounds for his GM norm. It really did look terrible for white. It did look terrible for white. And Young Min, I went into the playing hall to have a look at that. He does not have seconds on the clock yet. Almost half an hour. Now I think the clocks are correct. So yeah, 22 minutes still on the clock for Young Min, but things have happened as well. Unfortunately, the queens came off, which is always very sad. And finally, some action here in the center. Black captured on e4. Now the question for white is, how do we recapture? Knight takes is on the board. I don't think we will see one more exchange, because I feel that these two pawns should be quite strong. Unless black can somehow liquidate, but even here... oh, sorry. There's a bishop on the way. I was gonna play rook takes. Never mind me. I feel this should be equalish. Equalish with... I think, if anything, I probably prefer black just because this pawn structure is slightly damaged. Okay, let's move on. This is not the most exciting game we've got going on. No offense, Young Min and Emil. Actually, I think the IM group has a lot more exciting games, which doesn't mean the GM group. Like, I think today the games are all very fighting, very positional, like small margins. This one as well. Bishop b3 has just been played. The rooks have come off. And no, this one not as well. This one, Milton is just in control with his extra pawn. But, okay, I think we cannot take the pawn for tactical reasons, because black has bishop c2 in the end, hitting both pieces. And if you take with the knight, there is the immediate bishop c2 once again. So white cannot recapture the pawn that he is down, and Milton is in control here. Milton is very much in control. Let's go over to the IM group number 1. Let's bring back the standings. Let's bring back the standings for the IM group. Axel, sorry. So let's go to the IM group number 1, where we've had one result. Theodor Kenneskog won a nice game with this tactical shot, queen takes h5, forcing resignation because black was not in a mood to play this position and exchange down. But everything else is still going on. Okay, this has developed a lot. We liked Martin Jokstad's position before, and he has just taken a pawn. Is that a seagull? But we're quite far from the sea, no? Now that the weather has calmed down, now I found another topic of interest. It's definitely a seagull as well, like I can see it. It's a seagull that got lost in Uppsala. How far are we? Let me Google very quickly. Maps. Should really know on a map where exactly we are, but I'm not sure I do. Uppsala. We are far from the coast. That seagull got really, really, really lost. How far is it, let's say, to the closest coastal town I can see is Nor. I mean, it's like 80, 70, 80 kilometers. Around 80 kilometers to the coast. They are all over the place. Really, I hadn't seen one or heard one before. Interesting. Learn something new every day. But back to the chess. Maybe the seagull wanted to play in the tournament. Don't discriminate against trans animal players. Okay, I'm re-entering tricky topic territory. Seagull moved into land when there is no fish to catch. There is a river though, or like some water thingy, so maybe it can catch some fish there. Hopefully the seagull is fine. Okay, so Martin has just captured a pawn on b6. And he is now a pawn up. The question is this white king that's so lonely here on g1, is that going to be a problem? Or will that king be fine? King g4. That king will be looking, I guess, to come into f3 and just cause some problems. Let's say if white just pushes the pawns, this check, and okay, taking f2, and this would be a problem, although there is this. Then maybe the best black can do is just maybe repeat moves. But this is the plan. I think coming into here is black's plan. Oh, where is the mate? Oh, there's a mate. I'm so sorry. There is a mate here. That's a lot better than what I was showing. Okay, then how do you stop the mate? Then this is a big threat. What if I go knight c4? And if you come to f3, I'll give you a check. So knight, okay, he went knight d5. So now if you go here, I'll just take. Knight d5 I like, actually. Oh, and we're also threatening this fork. Actually, knight d5 might be very strong. Surely black doesn't want to play knight h5. Knight h5 is not a move you want to make, especially since I will still give this check. And this ending, I think, should be winning for white. With the extra pawn and this being falling as soon as the black rook activates. Apparently, if white had gone, my suggestion, knight c4, f6 is strong. Oh, very nice. Oh, and the point is after takes rook c7. Very, very nice. Nice little sequence, Paddy. So, but rook, knight d5 looks strong. If black has to, I think all these endgames. Maybe black can hold, but white is getting rid of any danger to the king here. As soon as the knight's off the board, white can stop worrying about getting checkmated, and then can focus on his extra pawn, and those connected pass pawns should decide the game. Let's move on to Zahidi, who is white against Adrian Söderström, and Zahidi still has his extra pawn. I think here something went because Adrian did play this move, which I wanted, and I thought f4 was not good for white, but I'm still not sure exactly why, but rook h5 I saw on my break was a blunder. It was a blunder, and now I remember. I think white maybe missed it. This is where I looked at the position on during the break, and I think knight e6 was crushing. The point being that after takes, you take here, and I think that's more or less that. It's not game over just yet, but I think this was very, very strong. Is Tiger Hill a person playing this tournament? Absolutely, yes, he is. We will go back to his game shortly. Have I ever beaten a GM? That's the question. It hurts. Don't ask me that question, Paddy. I've never beaten a GM in a classical game, which is very sad. Yeah, maybe let's remove Cuba's link if any mod in the chat knows. I still don't know how to delete a single message. I will. Someday I will, but it's one of the sore topics. I came very close. I was like +5 a couple of times and lost. So someday. But now let's not make me sad any further. So yeah, 96 was missed. I think 96 was very strong. But I think this is still probably good for white, just because suddenly this rook is out of play. White is still up a pawn. And yeah, I think this is looking good for Sahidi. Satcho, okay, just for you, we will look at Tiger. We just came from there, but we'll show you what's going on. This is Tiger's position. And I think it's around equal. But I think if anything, black is pressing. That bishop is still looking quite nice on that diagonal, and black only has one pawn island while white has 2 pawn islands. So he's maybe a tiny bit on the back foot, but should be around equal. My best guess is that this will end in a draw. So there you go, Satcho. And Tiger is having a great tournament. He is currently on 4 out of 6, so good times for Tiger fans. Now back to the IM1. So let's see, there's 2 games we haven't seen yet. One of them is Hilmir against Edwin. This queen is still stuck on a6. This queen is still stuck, and oof, I don't know what happened here, but bad things happened to black. This bishop is currently under attack. I have a bad feeling. I have a very bad feeling for this king. What do you do as black here? If you move the bishop, maybe this is not a good move, because now maybe you can play queen b5. And I don't think I want to allow that. So let's see, bishop e6. Thank you, Maripant. Maybe Maripant is our only mod who knows how to delete a single message. I tried this morning, and I failed. Bishop e2, Lone Wolf wants to play. Okay, and always this queen b5. No matter where the bishop goes, queen b5 will be a little bit annoying. But what if I somehow attack this pawn? But how? I really want to stop this queen from coming to b5. What if I go here? I think that will force king g7. And that's why you went here, to stop my rook from coming to g4. Although I'm not immediately clear why is bishop e2 better than bishop e6. Yeah, it's not so clear yet, but I think white is definitely better, especially in a practical game. But I actually just realized white is down a pawn. So if black can hold on, we might be fine. And finally, last game we haven't seen in this IM group is Axel Falkeval against Maria Yugina. And Axel has somehow won an exchange here. This is what we... Was this knight e4? I mean, it is knight e4, so this is exactly, I think, what we had looked at. I didn't see knight f2, but it leads to more or less the same thing. White loses an exchange at the cost of a pawn. I mean, black has a pawn for the exchange, but shouldn't be enough. I think this will be a matter of technique for Axel to convert. So let's go over to IM tournament number dos. No, Lone Wolf, I understood. Bishop e2 is probably the engine's choice, but I was trying to understand it, and I wasn't too clear to me. Okay, Steph Wiggen here has beaten Thomas Ernst, so that's a big result. I really liked his position the last time we saw it, but it ended quite quickly from here. We saw it here after rook h8. Ernst played knight d4, bishop here. Could he not play and try to just defend this opposite color bishop? I don't know, maybe black and... oh, it's white too. I don't know, why not at least get rid of these? Why not get rid of that bishop? But how did Vignir win this so quickly? Bishop g3, rook e2, king d6, knight takes. Now he took, but now the king is already infiltrating. Still, how is this so bad? Oh, the king just... and if the king goes here, black takes. Here, I guess? But why is this... Is this just over? This is probably over. And if the king goes here, what am I missing here? No, this, I'll have to refresh again. Somehow my mouse is doing this weird thing again. Oh my goodness, we had another raid. Yeah, Johnny! Thank you so much for the raid, Johnny. Johnny is here in Uppsala as well. I guess he's gone home. Much love. Much love. I actually, was it yesterday? 2 days ago, Johnny was raided by Gotham Chess, and it was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. The joy, the pure joy, and I've met Johnny here in Uppsala myself. Thank you so much for that, and best of luck. Congratulations once again on your win today, and best of luck for tomorrow. Thank you so much for the raid. And everyone go follow Johnny. He has amazing energy. He's such a positive and nice person, so do yourselves a favor, go and give him a follow. Yeah, so I was just wondering, why was this a resignation? I'm still not clear. Why is this over? What am I missing? Why was rook h2 a resignation? What happens after king d3? I must be missing something. Someone help me out of my misery. What am I missing after king d3? I don't see. Why is this? Maybe this is maybe, and then a3 falls. Okay, let's just pretend that is the reason. I think that must be the reason. Maybe once a3 drops, but still. I mean, first we have to deal with this bishop. And then if you take... But this king is... I don't know. 11 seconds, yeah, but especially with 11 seconds, you're more likely to just make a move and see what happens. Anyway, I'll have to, you know what, let's just see. No, but, okay, I mean, I just cheated and had a look at the engine, and the engine agrees with me. I mean, the position, according to the engine, the best move is not king d3, but the first move I had looked at, king d1. And after bishop takes, if this position is only like -1. So it just looks like it was a premature resignation. Very strange. Maybe it had places to be, things to do. Okay, this, let's go back here. This was the weirdest position ever. Don't tell me these pieces are still stuck there. Let me refresh. This game is just an absolute mystery to me. Oh my goodness, those pieces are still stuck there in the corner. So we left it. He went that way. I thought the king was gonna go to f8, king d8, rook c1. I liked Dago's position, but at the same time, h6 is a move that I had called, though it does make sense to activate the rook along the h file. Knight e4, bishop f4, rook c3. I can't believe... I mean... I don't know. I'd love to get Dagor in here if he wins and ask him about this, because I just don't understand. Check. Don't tell me we'll have a repetition here, but does white have a threat? Is white... I mean, the king looks... What's even the material balance? Black is up 2 pawns, but is there a threat now? It looks threatening, at least. Is knight c6 a threat? Why wasn't knight c6 played here? Because then you pick up... But then... No. This is mate. Why was knight c6 not played here? What am I missing now? What am I missing now? Why not knight c6? I have to... It's getting late. It's the 8th hour of chess commentary today. I'm just gonna take another cheat card here, because I'm just confused. On move 26, knight c6 was not working because knight takes and king e7. And this is winning for black. Why is this winning for black? Why is chess so hard? Bishop takes, rook takes. Okay, black actually has 2 pawns for the exchange, so maybe that's why. Chess is tough. Chess is very, very tough. And I think now it's just a repetition, yeah? BK Chess, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, now I think we'll just have a repetition. Wow, what a game. We've had another result. William Olsen won his game against Torsten Limbach. I liked Torsten's position, but I guess it went downhill. So only one other game remains in this group. That is Alexander Hart against Konstantin Borsuk. We also liked Alexander's position. Let's see what is going on here. Knight f4. I was always hoping this pawn would somehow keep giving us this edge. Now the king looks quite naked. Knight f4 has just been played, and black has captured. So black is up a pawn now. And I don't like this so much any longer for white. I think now the king is just too vulnerable. So I think black has taken over here. But Vignir has taken the lead. William Olsen also won his game. If Borzuk wins, we will have a triple lead with all three players on 5.5 out of 7, which is quite incredible. I think a draw was agreed here in this crazy game between Kim Nygren and Dagor. Yeah, king f1 and rook c1 will be the third repetition. What a crazy game. That's all I have to say about that. So only one game remains in the IM2 group. Let's see what our GM's up to. Let's bring back the GM standings. So only one game has ended. Tiger is still playing, but this rook d1, I think once the rooks get exchanged, this should just be a draw here, I think. And I don't think this will go on for too much longer, especially with the opposite color bishops. So this should end peacefully very soon, is my prediction. Ludwig against Kazakowski will also end peacefully. Black's only advantage is that he has the slightly better pawn structure on the king side, but that's not enough. This will be a draw. Khan Kukukshawi is not a pawn down against Milton any longer, but what is going on? b4 hitting the knight. If we take black, I need to refresh again. I don't know what happens with my mouse. I don't know, sorry about that. So b4, I was saying, if white takes, we will take. I'm not so clear what's going on here. I don't think we can afford to take here, because this pawn, I think we have to take care of that pawn, but it's not so easy. How do we do that? Queen d2. If black takes, if this happens, the problem is e2 is hanging in the end, and white will emerge a pawn up again. So it's a tricky spot for white, but if the clock times are correct here, which they might be, because the last time I was in the playing hall, Milton was quite low on time, I think. I think Milton is still pressing, still better. I don't know how easy it is. I don't know how clear this is. We will come back here. Let's see, Jung Min. This was another very complex game. Not too much has happened. I think we saw bishop e. No, actually, oh, quite a bit has happened. Or did we see these captures in the center? No, we saw this. I think here we stopped because I talked about these two isolated pawns, but Jung Min took on e4, and now the pawn structure is better again for white. Knight d2, rook f8, rook f1, and bishop h6, increasing the pressure on f4. Rook f3, rook f7. Black is looking 2 double on the f-file. And now he goes back to d8. What's that about? But okay, I think Jung-min is indicating that he is... I think he's indicating he's happy with the draw here. I don't think white will repeat like this, or could we... Or is Jung-min not happy? Is he looking for some... No, d3 is never gonna happen. No, okay, I think only white can be better here, probably. I don't see an active plan for black. The problem is this pawn is a little bit fragile. Maybe he played rook d8 because he wants to move the knight and play c5. That's one of the only active plans I can see. And yeah, Lone Wolf, I was saying that I did have a look at Tiger's game with the engine during the break, and I was shocked to find out he was never worse. Absolutely shocked. They are still playing. I wouldn't be surprised if their draw offer came soon, although could Tiger start pressing now? I don't think so. This knight. I think this will just be a draw here. Okay, so what do we think? I think this is gonna be a draw. I think this is gonna be a draw. I think Milton will win. E takes, E takes. Although now that those pawns are exchanged, what if we take now on b4? Queen takes. Actually, he gave a check. Sorry. Let me just refresh. I'm so sorry to make sure. Imagine you call yourself Platon. Well, I doubt he named himself, but we did talk about that. It's quite funny that he is called Platon. Queen d6. Knight here. So b4. Now white can took on b4. And after queen takes, he took on f5 and gave a check. So now material is even, but b2 is under attack. If the knight moves, e2 might be under attack. What is Milton thinking about? He has to go here, I think. This has been played. And the reason I say, because queen f8, we could just take and take on a4. And black can never win here. So queen h... Oh, and this pawn! Oh my god, I didn't even see that pawn. I did not even see that pawn hanging on a4. And I think Milton's advantage is probably gone. Or is there still something here? No, sorry, you can't take that because the bishop... it's been a long day. No, but okay, then Milton is just... worse. No, he's not worse. He can take and take. But I mean, he is worse here because white has this outside passer. I don't know where this has gone wrong for Milton. Maybe Milton can give a check, actually. But then he doesn't... No. I think this has gone wrong. I think this has gone wrong for... How is it sad what it stands for? The great thinkers of our time. How sad. I don't understand. What are you saying, Macron? Okay, this was definitely not played because now white would take a queen here. What's going on with those games? Okay, the queens did come off. This has gone horribly wrong for Milton. Now only white can... I think it's just a draw, but only white can play for a win here, I think. We'll see what happens, but something's gone wrong. The game, by the way, between Mirzoev and Jung-min has ended in a draw. They did repeat moves here. So today, a lot of games that were very, very close. Yeah, something's gone wrong. I'm not even gonna attempt to find where it went wrong, but something did go wrong. Something did go wrong. So, I'm calling a draw in Hillarp's game, a draw in Carlson's game, and a draw. We might have all draws this evening for the first time. We will see. Let's go back. Very quick look. This ended in a crazy draw. In the IM2 we only have one game still going, but an extra pawn for black. I think Borsuk is gonna do it. So let's bring back the standings of the IM Group 1, where four games are still going. Quick look there. Convert the winning position is not always so easy. No, it's actually always very hard. It's actually always very hard. Converting a winning position. Also, I don't think that Milton's position was probably not winning. It was just very good. But conversion is the toughest part in chess. Let's start with this game here. So this was when the king was starting to converge dangerously around our king. So knight d5 he met with rook h3. Those rooks came off, and I was saying only white can win here. No, but this surely was not played. No, we have to refresh again. I don't know what's going on with our games. So let's see. Rook h3 takes, here, 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 here. Okay, so it was that way. So he said, if you take me, I'll get behind the pawn. I guess is what he was saying. I don't know. So f3, king h2. Surprised at black, but okay, that pawn's not going anywhere. White cannot defend it, so now black takes it and the rook gets behind the b pawn. So only white can win here. But actually white cannot win. Unless he tries to lose. Which would be... No, maybe I'm talking nonsense. I think the rook has to go here now, otherwise rook c7. And what if we start bringing our king? And then we cut the king. Maybe white, is this winning? At least only white can win. I've changed my mind. How did Vigneer won his game? It was a very early resignation by his opponent, but nicely done to Vigneer. Maybe could this just be winning? This was very nicely maneuvered, actually, in hindsight, very nicely maneuvered. But why did, I think black wanted too much here. Why did black not just keep the king here? Because then, but then the king will also run, yeah. "40 minutes still on the clock for black, but I'm not sure if the position is holding." Okay, let's see Sahidi against Soderström. Bishop h2. What position was this here? I'm forgetting. Oh, this was where white was, and he eventually found knight e6. Rook g6 and f5. The point is that black can never take the knight because that rook will drop. So knight e6 was a nice tactic. So rook back to h6, but now this should be over very shortly now. This was a threat. So bishop e5, b4, bishop takes h2. This is on the verge of being over. This is just on the verge of being game over. What if we just take with the rook? I'm not sure what happens here. c4 will be hanging. I feel like we're a couple of moves away. Oh, is this so clear? I need to sneeze. Apologies. Endgames are hard. Chess is hard. I looked myself there on delayed sneezing away. That looked Dramatic. So rook takes h2 was played. And now there's a big threat on f6. Okay, what will... And the queen is threatened as well, actually. I think this is just game over. I think this is just over. I don't see a move for black, actually. I think this is over. Rook g8 check. Maybe we just go to the corner. Or we just step out to f2. Maybe just stepping out. Why not? Why not step out? Okay, let's come back here. Let's see. Oh, this one where we were fighting. Finally, the queen is out. The queen is out from a6. And the king is not dead just yet. And also Edwin has picked up another pawn. So Edwin is up 2 pawns. The question is, what was the last move? Rook a8, and before that the move was h4. So the question is h5. Okay, very nice. He's planning to meet with rook d5, hitting the queen and hitting that pawn. Edwin is fighting really, really well indeed. Fighting really well. And I'm not so sure what is going on here. I feel like we have to stop this. Maybe bishop g2. Maybe bishop g2, cover this square, put some pressure here. Or maybe simply take on c6. It's a very unclear position. And let's make another round. Oh. This happened way faster than I expected. Oh, I think he just missed rook c5 probably. And now, okay, it's just a matter of technique, but this will be winning for white. Martin only has 1 minute on the clock, but with 30 seconds per move, it shouldn't be so hard to gain some time on the clock by making some fast moves. So last game that we haven't seen is Axel Falkeval against Maria Yugina. Axel is up in exchange, but Maria now suddenly has 2 pawns for the exchange, and this is not so clear at all. I have no idea if this is winning. My guess is with best play this might be a draw, but I'm too tired to analyze in much detail. So let's have a quick look. Only 1 game remains in the IM2. Will not bring up the standings. We'll go back to the GM group in a second, but Borzog is going to win that game. So back to the GM group. Let's bring back just one more time the GM standings. Maria has been playing really, really well. And this morning, I mean, the way she even got over the fact that she didn't win, super impressive. Tiger. Knight e3. Maybe Tiger is better. Maybe bishop e6 and putting some pressure here. I have no idea if black has to take. I think there are some chances maybe for white. There might be some chances trying to get the king here. But maybe if black just comes here and sits. No, it should just be a draw. Never mind me. I think it's just a draw. I think black can probably just take and play this. And the white king has no entry squares. Gaza Bluesman, thank you, I appreciate that. This tournament is over the board. As I mentioned before, follow me on Instagram, @social. I've been posting quite a few stories. I will make a Uppsala highlight. I'll do that tonight, actually, after the commentary. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll be rewarded with an Uppsala highlight, so you can see all my stories. I didn't post too many pictures, but I posted a lot of stories. Yeah, I think... Oh, I did not see that pawn. I did not see that pawn on b2, but white is going to lose this pawn. Black is going to lose this pawn. And I think again it will just be a draw. And follow the channel. And follow the channel. We are so close. So close to 20k. 19,871, which means we are missing 129. Great maths there. And when I get home next week, we will have a 20k celebration party. So if you haven't followed yet, it's only one click. Won't cost you a thing. And it would give me great joy. And to all the party people in the stream who are looking forward to next week's party. Okay, I still think this will be a draw. I still think this will be a draw. I'm not even entirely clear. I think black is trying to win, of course, with all these pawns on dark squares, but black will try, I guess, to break at some point, but it's not gonna happen. By the way, the tiger game has ended in a draw after bishop takes b2. Bishop b2 was accompanied by a draw offer. Do we have any goals for 20k? Something planned in particular? Alex and Seamus said again. We have planned a great party. No, there are no plans yet. Maybe bring on, you know, Sam, Maripant, Truth, have a modcast. I want Alex to still, because Alex is going home next week, so we will, I want to do it before he leaves. So Alex will make an appearance. He doesn't know about it yet, but I'm sure he'll be delighted. We'll bring some fun people on. Maybe I can bring Simon. Haven't had Simon in a while. This will be a draw. This I don't know. Is Milton suffering? I think what Milton has to do... No, I think this is a draw. I think Milton will eliminate all the pawns on the king side and give up the bishop for this pawn, and it will be a draw. I think all games will end in a draw in the GM group today. The IM group number 2. Let's bring back the IM group number 1, actually, the standings, because the number 2 I think will be over very shortly. The most fighting group today is the IM group number 1. But I expect a few of those games will end soon. But this one, I mean, I said this was winning. Is this so easy? The way to win this game is to win this pawn on f3. But how do we do that? As soon as we move the queen, f2 falls. Okay, what if black just waits? Help me out. Someone help me out. Someone help me out. How do we win this as white? Oh, some live music is just starting outside. I love live music. Now we get some entertainment. He's played Rookie too. Am I the only one who gets really emotional with some kind of music? Like, I'm already tearing up. What is that about? Some kind of live music in the street. And there I go. The waterworks. It's, what's he singing? Wild World. Is that the name of the song? Oh, baby, baby. Maybe you can hear it. I don't know. Probably not. If you can hear it, it means our mic is pretty powerful. Anyway, I'm rambling. I have no idea how to win this. I have a feeling it should be winning. Is this Cat Stevens? Not the real one, but you know what I mean. I have no idea. I'll just move on from here. I hope Martin can find the plan. He only has 10 seconds, though. Maybe this is not so easy to win as I thought. Okay, what happens if I go queen here? just some noise on the background. No, it's fine. I think it's fine. Yeah, Wild Ride, but it's not Cat Stevens, yeah? Or is it? I have no idea. Next. Okay, we left this one here after rook d8. And we said h5 is not possible because rook d5, so Hilmir played one of the two moves I was thinking, queen c6. h5 was played. And here it comes. Here comes the exchange sacrifice on g6, f takes, queen e6 check, king g7 and b4. If this works, it will be really beautiful. The idea is you give up another pawn, but you want to bring in the rook on c7. You want to bring in the rook, so if black, I think black has to take, what else? Then rook c7 check. Also because by taking here you cover this square, so you stop any queen e7. Can you hide here? No, you can't hide here because queen check. Oh, this doesn't look so good. Maybe this, I mean, if this works, it will be beautiful. Who's Maxi Priest? What's his name now? Yusuf something. Anyway, I digress. Still 4 games going. b4. Maybe this works. I haven't managed to figure it out yet, but the question is, what do we do after king h8? What do we do after king h8? Is his idea... Oh, maybe queen e3, threatening queen h6? Maybe there is no stopping queen h6. If you have to go here, I will take. And this just looks crushing. You can't take, says the engine. Okay, but if you can't take... I mean, rook c7 is coming anyway. So maybe you have to go somewhere where you cover this square. Maybe queen a3. Maybe queen a3. Here. And maybe the king can hide here now. Now there's no more check on e3. Maybe this is fine for black. But I think he will see. I think he will see that he has to cover this e3 square. Okay, we'll come back. I don't know why he's not playing anymore. What's his time? We don't know. Here we also don't know. This one for sure we don't know what's going on. We'll see. But there are no more moves coming in. We'll see. Let's see if there's any more moves. Maria, she's doing so great. I mean, I would be worried here as white. I would be worried as white here. And finally, this one I thought would have to be over by now. Not yet. After rook takes h2, rook g8, king f2 was played. I'm curious if all 4 games... Anton, help me. Please help me. How do you win this position as white? Is this winning? Total win. Bring queen to f5. How do I bring the queen there? Queen h7 maybe. But somehow I think we're not getting... I'm going to refresh because we haven't been getting any moves in any of the games for the last few minutes. After rook e1 we've had no move. After king f2 we've had no move. After b4 we've had no move. But here f4 was just played. So it seems to be working. How do these people still have so much time on the clock is what I wonder. Maneuver with the queen up. Go to b7. b7. No, you mean... Give some check. I can't give a check. Some check. Give some check. Okay, this is where we want to go, f5. So rook here. Give some check. And go f5. The problem, oh, now he will still have to win this. Okay, this was always gonna happen. But maybe it's easy to win queen against rook. Some fair, I think, was it Morozevich? I think Morozevich failed to win queen versus rook once. Or it was Yakovenko, but it was these two who were playing, Morozevich and Yakovenko. But I think if the king is already on the side of the board, then it's easier. Somehow we're not getting any moves. Nor in this move, nor in this game, nor in this game, nor in this game. I might... Do you want to go and have a look? Maybe just see if in the IM1 group, if really 4 games are still going on, if you don't mind. Thank you. Because something strange is going on. And let's see, did we have any moves here? This ending is still going. I still think it's a draw. And Black is trying. Black is trying his best, but I think White is defending well. And Khan. Here we also had no moves, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe because there was some thunder. Maybe the thunder broke the live transmission. 3 should be. Okay, so 1 game has ended. Which one could have ended? I'm gonna very quickly run it. Okay, let me just refresh first. I'm gonna quickly go. We'll stay live, but I'm gonna go and see if they've made any moves, because before, like, Edwin can't have so much time to still be thinking about this. Here we also had no move. I'll be back in 1 minute. We can just leave it as it is. I'll be right. Okay, so I am back. I have both good news and bad news. The bad news is I think we're not getting any more moves in the IM1 group or in the IM2. So that's the bad news. The good news is it means we get to wrap it up, I think, for the day. It's been a long day. It was a double round day. I'll give a quick assessment of what's still going, but I've been here for 8 hours. Axel has been here for 8 hours. Axel has a family dinner. I have a night off awaiting me and a few emails and stuff. So, Carlsen against Kazakowski, they are still playing. I think this will be a draw. Kukukshari against Milton. Actually, here the moves are still coming, but I think we'll probably... We'll probably. I think they will both. I think both games will end in a draw. In the IM1, Sahidi has won his game against Söderström. Here, I mean, here so much has happened already. The position looks nothing like this. And this is still going, but I think Borsuk is going to win. So remember, if you want to keep following the game, you can do so here. I just put the command in the chat. But I think we will wrap it up. It's been a long day of chess. Thank you so much to all of you for watching. Let's find someone to raid. Who are we going to raid? Who are we going to raid? We'll raid Anna, I think. Well, let's raid Maria, actually. Let's raid Maria. They are playing a sub battle, actually, Maria against Anna. Thank you so much for watching. It's been great. And we'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central European Summer Time with round 8 here. Thank you so much to all of you. Have a great night.